Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my my house. It is the day before Thanksgiving, and welcome. We are going to be today doing a Christmas card, and I'm gonna let a few people hop online, wait for a second, and let everybody realize it's 10 o'clock. Let's see, Pacific time here. And I'll just introduce myself. My name is Eileen, and I am just going to be today doing some Christmas stuff. I don't know about you guys, but I this year am going to make my Christmas cards. I've been doing the Costco thing where, you know what, put a picture on there, and it's super great and easy to do, but I think this year I'm going to be doing handmade cards, just because it was one of those things where I did a long time ago and everybody was like, oh, you know, it's so exciting to get handmade things, and so I'm gonna do that again this year. So I will wait until a few little things to do, but first of all, I wanted to show you, I yesterday did a little video on my Facebook and Instagram and said I was designing ornaments, and I got down here to my office and I started doing some designing of dog ornaments, and then I got sidetracked. So that's kind of where my mind goes. I have little snippets here and there, and yeah, it was one of those where I started the dog ornaments, and then I had a thought in my mind and I was picking something up and I was like, you know what, I'm going on a bunny trail. So let me show you what I did. So I just took a Goodwill, you can see this tag still on there. I just took a Goodwill tray and I painted it with white chalk. And then this image right here was from a gift box that we had got from my mother-in-law. She has passed away, and I kept the box because I loved the picture and I wanted to kind of keep her memory going, but I didn't really know how. And I'm gonna do a shout out to Kathy at Royal Funky Junk. She gave me the idea of taking it and putting it on something that can be displayed and memorable. And so, like I said, I found this box and I was like, ooh. So I painted with white chalk paint, put some Mod Podge down, put the picture on there that I just cut out the top of the box, and then put Mod Podge over the top, and then my that was 2 coats, and then my 3rd coat I just dabbed around his white part on his hat and his beard and the fluffy part on his collar of his coat, and then put glitter on it so it's sparkly. And then I thought, you know what, I'm gonna add some flowers and things like that to it. So this is actually hanging in my entryway. And so now when I come in each time, I can remember just a little bit about my mother-in-law. She was a beautiful soul, very gracious, wonderful lady, taught me some cooking and good home, Southern hospitality. And so I just wanted to share this with you guys. If you have a memory that you just don't know what to do with, and you want to be able to honor somebody's life and memories of them, I think this is a great idea. So now, until whenever it dissipates to not be able to hang up anymore, I will have my my memory of her each Christmas. So I think that's a great idea. If you have something that's laying around like this that you want to be able to honor somebody, or that you give it as a gift, I think this would be a beautiful low cost. Basically was the cost of the flowers in the tray and the ribbon, and I actually got most of this stuff either at a thrift store or I think it was Michael's, but this little bird here I got at the thrift store for 49 cents. So like I said, it's something that I will cherish for a long time. So anyway, I just wanted to show that to you. Okay, All right, so the reason why I'm doing cards today is there's a lot of people that ask me when to do cards and things like that, how I do it. I was a close to my heart consultant for 22 years and started when they were dots, dozens of terrific stamps, and then moved into close to my heart. And Jeanette, I have met her once. She is a beautiful, lovely lady, and I love the company. My sister-in-law, Lisa, actually came to our house one time and said, hey, I've got some rubber stamps, and why don't you come and play with me? And I'm like, oh, sure, we'll see how this goes. And I love the company. Their philosophy is beautiful to make friends and connections and things like that. So the philosophy of the company, the item quality, if it's not up to their stuff, they take it off the market or they revamp, and they make sure that the products that you're looking at and using and being a part of are top notch. So that's my shout out to Close to My Heart. Go to closetomyheart.com. I just was at their website right before today's live, and they have some really cool stamps, inks. They have even spray in a bottle that is glittery, pearlescent, and they have some really neat coordinating colors and papers to match. So anyway, go ahead and check them out, see what is maybe on your Christmas list or something that you've been looking for that you would love to be able to use their products. So kudos to them. Okay, so what I was saying is today we're gonna make cards, and this is just a simple beginning Christmas card level. I just wanted to show you how I make more than one at a time. So when I do any card, I don't make just one. And not that I don't want one-ofs, but I think my time is spent, good morning, Joy. My time is spent better if I do like 10 at a time, 20 at a time. Or sometimes if it's a smaller project, I will do 6 at a time. So when I do my cards, I make extra. So I have a little box on hand that if I'm in a hurry and I need a birthday card really quick, or anniversary, or I hear someone has a need or just isn't feeling good, something like that I can just go in and grab each card and not have to worry about making one at a time. And so most of the time I just leave them blank in case I need to put something that's personal in there, or I can do just a general flower or something like that I can always add a sentiment on the bottom or something like that. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to make 10 of these, and I'll show you how it goes. So come along with me. See, I gotta take my thing off. I don't want to make sure that I get stuff on my sweatshirt. But the first thing I'm gonna do is when I make a card like this, I need a base. And my base is going to be an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. This is 65-pound cardstock. You can get it at like Office Depot or Office Max, Staples, something like that. The reason why I do that is because it's a lot less cheaper to do just regular cardstock than to go buy card and envelope packets together. It's almost like triple the price. So I make sure that when I do my cards, I just go to the store and buy a big bulk of cardstock that's like this. You can use 110-pound cardstock, which it's quite a bit heavier, and it's a little bit harder to cut, but like I said, I think the 65-pound cardstock does well. So, all right, I'm going to show you how it goes. So I'm going to get 5 pieces of cardstock here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and this is my handy dandy cutter. This is from Fiskars. I've had it for I think 10 years or so. And it does have a swing out ruler on it. A lot of times I do some scrapbooking or stamping classes, and I'd say, okay, bring your cutter and this paper and then a stamp and a color or something like that. And then I'd flip this out, and a lot of my gals would go, oh, and you didn't know there was a ruler? So do know that there is a cutting ruler, or a ruler that goes out to 12 by 12. And then this right here, this is the cutter. If you have one that you get in your pack and it's black, that is a scoring blade. And I don't use a scoring blade as much, but definitely the cutter, these are replaceable. So when it gets dull, I have a couple on hand and make sure that I always have a sharp blade. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let's make sure I can see. This is about measurements, so I wanna make sure that I see. Okay, I'm gonna cut it at 5.5. And I'm just gonna do every process at one time. And that's what helps with timing and making sure that every measurement is cut the same. And then you don't have to worry about it. Everything's ready to go at once. And I think it does save a lot on time to be able to do your projects. Okay, so there's my base. The next thing I'm gonna do is, this is a little scoring envelope, wooden piece. It's got a little tip on it. And this is really nice to be able, if you didn't have that scoring and I would have to put my scoring blade back in, I think it's just easier to go ahead, just one, fold over in the half. And so I'm just marking or just matching up the corners, taking one swipe down the side. Like I said, I'm also a person that likes to do things rhythm-wise, as far as the same process over and over again, and I try and improve it each time I do it. So if you are like me, I am a creature of habit, and I like to do things over and over again. I say, I just put my thumb on the corner and then just run it down the side. So good morning, how's everybody doing? I was gonna tell you, I have an inch of snow outside my house. It's supposed to get a little bit warmer, so I don't think it's gonna stay very far, but what I love about it is it stays on the grass and the road is quite drivable, so I'm okay with that. All right, so that's all I did. And we are gonna use, this is the card here, we are gonna use it, this is called the hot dog way. This means that it is tall and it's gonna open up like this. If we were doing the hamburger way, it would be opening up like this. So just a tip, if you see some instructions and things like that, you know, it says hamburger or hot dog, we're doing the hot dog today. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, I want to set up, most of the time when I'm doing a lot at a time, I want to do the inside, which sounds kind of funny, but I want to do the inside first. Reason being is if you have a stamp or something like that, that you're putting a sentiment in the inside, and unfortunately, if you mess it up, I've had to take the card, cut the front off, mount it to a different card. So my suggestion to you is, if you have something that you know that you're doing and in this assembly line way, that you do the inside first. Okay, so let me show you what we're gonna do for the inside. This is a stamp pad. This is close to my heart. It is cranberry, and these are a little bit different. They open up and they swing, and then you push them down in the back. So we're gonna use, this is cranberry red. And I'll show you a little bit before I start stamping. This is close to my heart's stamp sets. And they don't have the older style of blocks and things like that are wooden. It's all the acrylic clear. And the cool thing about this stamp company is they have instructions, which I love. It will tell you exactly what you need to do to be able to stamp an image. So if you're an instruction or visual person and you need that, it will tell you all about it, even down to how to care for the stamp. So I love that. So that's one of the things that are in all of the stamps. They always come in this little package. I love that part about Close to My Heart, so that you can store them. I have a box that can hold up to 20 of them, 15, 20 of them. So it always comes in a protective pocket. this is actually, you can see the red, I've already stamped that at one time, but this is the images, and they're on acetate so you can see them. If you need to, there's some instructions. You can actually use your Cricut with them, and they will tell you how large to cut the image. And so this is how you're gonna store them. Everything that you need, it's all the images here. All you need to do is just peel off the image, just like that. And that's what it looks like. So, and after you've done cleaning it, you just go ahead and put it right back on the same spot. I'm kind of picky, I like them right back where it was. But that, you see how they're a little bit raised there, and that is how you use the stamps. So after, when I clean my stamp, I make sure that either I use baby wipes without alcohol in it, or you can use, this is a stamp pad cleaner, and all it is just a little raised brush. And then you can put stamp pad cleaner, or you can do a little bit of water, and I just go ahead and put that on there. Like I said, most of the time I use baby wipes without alcohol in it, because it's just a quick and easy, and you'll see me do that. It's a quick and easy cleanup. So that's the three pieces. The final piece and the most important piece, I think, when you're stamping, this is a little foam. It's got little air bubbles in it. And this takes place of when you have a wooden stamp and it's the wood and that little foam and then your image, this takes care of that foam part. So when I do any type of stamping, I always put it down first. So I make sure that that little cushion is there. And the images that I'm going to be using, some of them are just words, so that's okay. You might get away with not using it. But actually, the Christmas tree that I'm going to be using is quite solid, so I want to make sure that that image gets all the way onto my piece of paper. So let's do the inside of the card first, and then I'm going to cut the images for the tree and the background and texture paper, and then we'll keep going from there. So I just wanted to make sure that you know exactly what we're doing. And unfortunately today I'm gonna have to flip. I usually do my projects so that you guys can see them, but I will do a little bit of turning back and forth because I want to make sure I get my image on the right spot. So when we were talking about the what do you call it? The blocks here, this is the Close to My Heart block. It's clear. I love it. Reason being is that when I put this image down, wherever I want, I can replace it if I want. I could add different images to it. The thing I like about theirs is Close to My Heart has the polymer is actually movable. So if I had an image that I just wanted straight, or if I wanted it curved, I could actually do that on this stamp. So love that about being able to do that. Okay, so here we go. This is how I do it. I twist, and then I tap. And that just allows the image to be able to get enough ink on there. I want to make sure that it's completely covered. And then I use it just like I'm going to do a camera. So I'm going to hold it with these two fingers, and then let me get my baby wipe here. What I love about this is if I'm looking at it and I see that I've gotten a little bit of ink on the side, I can take it off. Okay, so I'm going to put my pinkies down where I want it to go, push down, and I just go 1, 2, 3, can't get me. And that's what I do when I stop at a stop sign, making sure that it's long enough but not too short. So that is how I do that. All right, the second little one, these are super fun. This is a little image of almost like a mistletoe or something like that, little sprig. And these ones here, you just tap, tap, tap. And you don't push as hard on this one. I'm just gonna do a little bit, 1, 2, and then off. So this is gonna be the inside of my car. Good morning, Denny. Okay, so let me do this really quick. And I know it's kind of, you know, to be able to watch me to do 10 at a time, but I want to show you how quickly and how easy it is to be able to put your images down, pop up. There we go. And then I'm just gonna set them off to the side. I know you can't see it, but I'm gonna lay them in a way that you can allow the ink to dry. This ink here, it is water-based, so you can be able to pretty quick get it out of clothes. If you know me and see me, I usually have something colored on my hand if I've been stamping, and that comes out with just regular soap and water if you want. So I've got 4 done. I'm almost halfway there. Like I said, if you're gonna do 20, 30, 40 of them, this is a great way to start out. Tell me in the comments there, are you making your cards this year, or are you doing something else? There we go. And also tell me, are you a stamper? Are you not? And if you're not, you think this would be easy enough to do? Okay, 2 more left. Make sure. I want to make sure that I don't get any extra ink where I don't want it to be. Okay, and last one. So when you're doing an image like this and it's sentiments, twist, tap, tap, guide it down. Say these stamps are such a great manufacturing process that you don't have to push that hard on these stamps. Okay, so there we go. We are all finished with the inside. And then the next thing we're gonna do while I'm letting those dry, we are going to, let's make sure every time, I'm one of those, I like to close my stamp pads every time I use them, because I want my inks to be able to be fresh. And when I store them, we used to have to store them upside down because the ink pad would be sitting straight up. But these, if you notice, they're actually already upside down, so you can just store them just like this. I love that about these stamps. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is, while I'm letting those dry, I'm gonna get my background and texture paper. And background and texture paper is anything that has a texture and that you wanna put on the back side of your card here. I have a couple different ones that I was playing with, and look at here, there's a sweater. I think that's a great one. And this year I'm kind of going with a monotone. I like the kind of just the good old-fashioned Christmas. And so when I do something like this and I'm doing 10 of them, I want to be able to maximize each of my background and texture paper sizes to get as many as I can on each of these papers. So the image that I'm going to be using on the front here, it's the Christmas tree, is right here. And this is a big block. I just put it in the middle. I have a couple extra blocks and things like that oh, Denny, I bet you're gonna get one of these too. Here's the image here, and I just measured it, and I am going to leave 1/4 of an inch. It's pleasing to the eye. A lot of images that you leave around about 1/4 of an inch for each border. And so I measured this out, and what I'm gonna cut is the image is actually 3.5. I'm looking at my sheet here, make sure I give you the right dimensions. It's 3.5 by 1 3/4. So I measured that to see where it would be, and then I gave about 1/4 of an inch around it for extra, just to make sure that I get it on the size, and unless I wanted the image to go off the piece of background paper, but I don't. So the first one I'm gonna cut is that white piece of cardstock that we're gonna mount the Christmas tree on. And then I'm going to do the red there for the background of it, and then I will cut the background and texture paper that's gonna go on the card. So how that works is the white piece of cardstock is 3 3/4 by 2. And so I wanna make sure when I do a cut like this that I can get 2 on each side, and then I maximize to be able to get to that 2 inches. So I'll show you what I mean. If I'm going to do a 2 inch, I'm gonna already set it up so that I maximize my extra, because sometimes we wanna make sure that, you know, all these little pieces and things, we actually can really use them and be able to, I have a little bin that I put all of my reds and greens and yellow pieces of paper. So the next time that I use something, I have a piece of paper instead of, you know, actually taking out a whole piece of paper each time I want to use it. So this one here is 3 3/4, so it's 2 by 3 3/4, and I'll have a little bit of extra, and I usually don't save that, so I'm just gonna toss that. So 3 3/4. There we go. Okay, and for time's sake, I am going to do, I'm going to jump down instead of 10, I'm going to do 6, just so that this process, I know 6 times, I think you guys should be able to figure that one out after that. So let me do, so I have 6 of them right here. So this is my stamp that I'm going to put on the image, okay? The next layer is the red, is right here, and the red is 4 by 2 1/4. So I had a 12 by 12 piece of paper and I cut it at 4 inches, so I will do that here. So now I have my 4, so I have 2 sheets here, and I'm going to cut them both together because this is a thinner background and texture paper. I can actually cut 2 sheets at a time. So I'm going to cut it at 2 1/4. So when I put it on here, I'm going to have a little bit, let's see if I can lean that. I'm going to have a little bit of just a little bit of a pop of color around each one. Okay, so there's 2, 4, let's see, 1/4. So, and if I was cutting and making the 10, I would just pretty much cut this all at once. But I'm going to do, like I said, I'll run down to 6 so we don't have to watch 10 of them go down. But, okay, so there's my 6. And I'm going to just set it off to the side because I want to cut all at one time. Like I said, I want to make sure that when I'm doing something like this, that I do each measurement, I cut all at once. And that just maximizes my efforts and my time. So, okay, so the background and texture paper, this right here, when we have a card like this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it was that 8 1/2 by 11 sheet of paper twice, right? So when I fold this in half, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So if I were to take a quarter of an inch off of each of the squares around there, that means that I would just go 1/4 inch from 4 1/4 and 1/4 inch by 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut the background and texture paper at 4 inches by 5 1/4. So this is 5 1/4 and this is 4. So these are 12 by 12 inch pieces of paper, so I love it. I have a lot less waste if I'm going to use that whole increment of the 4 inches. So a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I hope I'm not confusing you guys, but because it's 12 inches across and I cut it at 4, I can get 3 of these, and that maximizes my my paper quite a bit. So then I'm going to cut it at the 5 1/4 because our measurement is 5 1/2. And I will have a little bit of extra, and this is an extra piece I will keep. So there's 2. And then cut again at 5 1/4. Joy, you want my shirt. Well, this is a one of, I probably could make it for you, but this t-shirt I made, we went to Disneyland over Thanksgiving a couple years ago, and I had just started my t-shirt business, Jane Nicole Designs, and wanted to walk around Disney with a bunch of Christmas, like I said, it was at Thanksgiving, but it was decorated for Christmas. So private message me and I'll talk to you about it. Okay, so here's my 6 pieces. And then I have my 6 pieces for my Christmas tree and then my accent piece. So we are done with cutting for right now. I'm gonna put my cutter away so I maximize, I'm a clean space area kind of person, so I make sure that each time I'm done with something, I put it off to the side. So like I said, here's where we're going. I'm gonna put that right there so you can see it. There we go. Okay, so building up. So I did the inside, making sure that if I messed up, then I could totally redo my base of my card. So the next thing that's on here is I just took around the outside edge of the stamp, or I mean of the card, and just distressed it a little bit. And this one is red, but I think I'm gonna use the chocolate color. And these here, they are little distressing inks from Close to My Heart. And I love them because you can just drag it down the side. And doesn't matter if you get a little bit messy or whatever, that's what distressing is all about. So I'm gonna do that first, making sure that when you look at your card, you open it up. Sometimes I've done that on the back, so be careful. Make sure you know which way your card is opening at all times. So there's 2. See, we wanna make sure that we get the right way. And the cool thing about this, it gives it like a homemade, just hobby kind of look. And I love making things that are, I'm not super perfectionist per se, but I do want it to look homemade. And that's kind of like the farmhousey fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that when somebody opens it up and you're able to show someone that you care through something that you've made, I think that is, there's no greater joy in my mind of being able to bless somebody like that. Okay, so I think I got enough, but so this is just distressing, making sure that the edges are not too crispy white. Like I said. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna take these pieces here. This is the sweater background and texture, and I'm going to stamp these little trees on the side here. So I'm gonna let this go off to the side. I'm gonna let the distressing cards dry a little bit, just make sure it firms up what's going on. I'm going to put my little stamp cushion right there, and actually this one's okay. I am going to not use my stamp because these are really thin lines and I want it a little bit distressed kind of looking. So this right here, this is the set. I didn't even tell you which one it was. This is an older set. It is Snowman Haven Card Making Workshop. And I know it's backwards. I'm so sorry. You can take a picture and try and read it backwards. But this is when Close to My Heart was 30 years old. I believe they are 40, almost 40 years old, I think now. Something like that. You can go on Etsy. You can go on eBay. There's actually Pinterest has now sales and things like that you can buy some of these older stamp sets, or you know what, go ahead and find and make your own version. And you know, if you find a row of trees, things like that, go ahead and use your own. So, all right, I made sure this is just an extra piece of cardstock, and you can see I've already stamped on it for the first card there. But I always do that just to make sure. Oh, I don't want cranberry, I want chocolate. This is chocolate. And we are just gonna stamp those. So the first time when I did this one, this little smaller stamp, I actually twist, twist, tap, tap. And this one here, it's larger, and I don't want to miss anything. So when I'm gonna do this one here to ink it up, I'm actually gonna use the stamp pad. Make sure that if you have a stamp pad like this, that it's all the way clicked in and okay. And I'm gonna twist, twist, tap, tap, and make sure that it's sitting flat. And this is a better way how to do it if you have a larger stamp. So if you're looking here, I would look at it and make sure that, you know, everything looks good. And then go ahead and just line up. That's what I love about these. You can actually see through them. So I'm gonna take my stamp, push down, and there you go. Just a little fun added extra embellishment to the bottom of the paper. I think makes it look so good with that added extra texture. See? And if I'm gonna twist, just make sure that you tap down after you twisted, because you can get swirl marks from the stamp pad, and you wanna make sure that it doesn't. Whoop. There we go. Okay, 4 more to go. So bear with me as we finish up here. There we go. So here's a question for you. Today, are you preparing your turkey for tomorrow? And what are you doing for your dinner this year? Are you cooking, or you get to go to somebody else's house and be cooked for? This year, for the very first time, we are going to smoke our turkey. We'll see how that goes. My husband has been looking online and making sure that there is a good recipe of a rub and thing like that. I don't know. We bought injector something. I don't know what it was, but to be able to cook a turkey in the manner, and I'm making sure that all my side dishes are something that I can either heat up really quick, because we have absolutely no idea how long it's going to take. So I'm preparing for either a few hours, or it could be all day. I have no idea. So let me know what you guys are doing. All right. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna make sure that I don't have ink that goes on my background and texture paper. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So there we go. That's what it looks like. And like I said, if I were to do this right away, let's just do it so we don't get anything on. I would just baby wipe this. And do you see how the red is still on there? That is totally okay. With close to my heart stamps, the more you use them, the better season they get, and the better they actually stamp their images. I have some stamps that are almost yellow because they're older stamps and they have been, quote, seasoned, and they stamp beautifully. So don't worry about that. Wipe that off really quick. That you, you know, make sure that you get everything off of all your ink and everything off. It is okay. All right, so really quick, I'm gonna put the base on here. And this glue here, it is from Scotch. It's called Tacky Glue. It's white and it dries clear. And I use this for 90% of all my gluing, unless I'm going to use some type of a foam tape or something like that. With this glue, less is best. It does wrinkle a tiny bit, but not as like Elmer's or any type of liquid glue. So That's what I have. The darker, I love how the distressing around the edges gives it that little bit of extra texture instead of just a stark white background. Make sure, again, like I said, if you are using this method of doing a lot at a time, that when you open up your card, it is in the right way, so that when you do your images and things like that, that when somebody opens it, it's not backwards. Like I said, I've done that before. I had to cut the card off the top, the face of the card, and then mount it to a new one. So in stamping, I think if it's something that you could do that messes up, that would be me. I've done it, bought the t-shirt, and like I said, so some of you are commenting that you would like my t-shirt. If you want to private message me, it is a one of a kind. I did make it for a family vacation, but I sure can let you know how I put it together. And if you are dying to have one, I will see what I can do for you. Okay. All right, last one. We're doing 6 at a time. I went from 10 to 6 just to make sure that you're not staring at me too long doing the exact same thing. But you guys get the idea of thinking outside the box and how you're going to streamline each element that goes onto your card. So these are just going to sit here, hang out, dry. This glue dries, like I said, it dries clear, so don't worry about that. Once in a while I'll get something on the corner and whatnot. I just wipe it off. It's pretty forgiving in that way. Okay, so now we're going to do the image, this image right here. And I did it several different ways when I was making the mock-up for this. I actually took the glitter here, and this is liquid glitter, and I put it on each of the little hearts. I have brown glitter that made looks like little Christmas balls on so the sky is the limit as far as what you want to do with this image. I love it. It's in, let me see, this one here is this is the Heartfelt Christmas. And this one's a little bit older. This is probably, I think, about 10 years old or so. But it has all different little Christmas sayings and sentiments. It's got this right here. You can see I've used it in red several times on a scrapbook page. So that's a really good image. And like I said, if some of those older sets that you'd like to get, try eBay, try Etsy. I actually have some of my Christmas stuff up on Etsy that are older sets that I don't use. Like I said, you can get a hold of the older ones, but you know, you're always welcome just to see what Close to My Heart has on their site right now. I know they have some really pretty images. So, okay, so I have my chocolate color. I'm going to twist. And this one here, because it is a flat and there's a lot of image that you're going to be stamping, I want to make sure that I push down a little bit harder on it. And like I said, I want to make sure that I don't have any spaces that do not have saturated with ink. This one here, I am going to bring in my cushion, because I want to make sure that that cushion is forgiving and transferring the ink from the image to the paper here. Okay, so I'm just going to put it right down here, and I love that you can see through it. Set it down, and I just push my fingers, and like I said, 1, 2, 3 can't get me. This one will come up because of the image has a lot of surface area on it, and so that's how you do it. So like I said, we're gonna leave it on the table, twist, tap, 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 make sure that my image is completely there and I like where it's at. Push down, let it sit for a few, pick it up. There we go. All right, so let me do that a couple times. So let's see. My husband's on here, and I guess Denny's one of my good friends. He's being weird, I guess. My husband is very comical, and that is one of the things I love about him so much. he has got a wonderful sense of humor, and my family is a little bit like that as well. There we go. One is a little bit. Anyway, he is a very big kid at heart, and that's one of the things I love about him. There we go. Okay, let's see where it's going. Let's see. I haven't seen anything about the turkeys yet. It must be everybody's going to somebody else's house and not having to worry about cooking turkeys. Oh, hold on. Right in the middle there. Yep. That's the one thing I love about these stamps, that I do a lot less mess ups in that regard, because I can see what the image is. When you had the older style, the blocks, making sure that that image goes where you want it to is difficult. I have some stamps that you have a flower that's a base, and then you have line drawings, and trying to be able to line that stuff up was quite challenging. And I think now that they've done this way, like I said, it's a lot easier. Okay, so that is done. I'm going to put this off to the side so I don't get any ink. Make sure that my hands are clean. And I'm going to do the distressing here on the corners there. You see there's a little bit of, it looks like it's, somebody ran a little bit of, I guess you'd say, old-time dirt down the sides. There we go. We're going to let this dry. That's to say, when you do one step, all of them at one time, it makes it so much quicker. Okay, put that on there. And I think we are done with using our inks. So I'm going to put those away and out of the way so that we don't get any ink on us. That is one thing that is very disheartening when you get to the process that it's almost getting done and then you have a bunch of ink on you. So that's not good. Okay, so I don't have to do anything with these. I'm just actually going to just glue the image on there when I'm ready to do that. But I just wanted to make sure that these are off to the side here. Let's get this off. There we go. Now I'm in the process here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the Christmas tree come alive. And so you see on there, it's Prismaglitter, and Prismaglitter, some people call it diamond dust. I'm not really sure, kind of thing. I just call it that. Oops, looks like I missed one. Do that really quick. But I'm going to show you how I put Prismaglitter on. And this right here, it is called Bonding Memories. You can get it at Michael's. This is Close to My Heart's version of it, but it is a glue that if you put it on and you paper to paper really quick, it's just like a regular Elmer's glue or like cement kind of thing. If you put it on there and let it dry, it becomes more of like a tacky glue, almost like rubber cement. And so that's two ways that you can use this glue. So I'm going to use it just to put the glitter on, and I always bring in a piece of paper to be able to tap off. This is the glitter I'm using today. It is not, quote, this is called Diamond Fine Holographic Glitter. I got it, it's like $3.49. I got it at Walmart. So I think it doesn't really matter where you get it. But like I said, it's pretty cool. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is just take my my little pen here, and I'm just gonna do in a V, make sure that all the different ones get the glue. And like I said, it's pretty forgiving, and I'm not one of those where you absolutely have to keep inside each of the little hearts, because I think it gives it a little bit more texture and things like that with the glitter. And this glitter is, or the glue is blue, and then when it dries, I love it, it turns white, or I mean, sorry, clear. So you won't even be able to see the glue at all. Let's see, make sure, get the last one. Okay, so it looks like, yep, I got each one of them, and then I'm just gonna go to Glitter Town here. And always when I use Prismaglitter, everybody knows it because I always have a little piece right here and one there. And then my kitty will come down to the craft room, and then she'll get it all over her paws. But like I say, it just gives it a little bit of texture, a little fun to be able to sparkle. I could see you doing all sorts of colors of glitter. If you wanted to do red, you're welcome to do red. Green. I could see good old-fashioned pine, a pine color would be really pretty on this. And then I always put it back right as I use it. Go ahead and put it in a V and then tap on the end. That just makes sure that the glitter gets where it needs to go. There we go. And the extra will swing off to the side. Okay. All right, so after that, we have one more thing that we're gonna do with this for the tree image. And I wanted to show you, there's a couple different ways that you could do this. I have little sequins that you could put on the top. I think that would be really, really cute to give it something flashy. There is red. This is glue that has glitter in it. Here's a brown, super pretty copper kind of color. I think that's great to be able to use that. So I'm just gonna dab it. I put 2 beads, and then I have a little tiny little pin here, and I draw down the bottom in between those 2 dots, and that's what gives me that heart. If I were to try to do this with squishing it out, I tried it several times and I got really frustrated. Maybe you can do it better than myself. But like I said, I just put 2 dots, and then I take that needle and I just push down a little bit to be able to go into the bottom part of the heart. I mean, you don't even have to have it look like a heart. I mean, you could put a star at the top. Whatever is good, I think. And like I said, I've said before, we could all use the same materials, but they're all gonna come out a little bit different. And that's what I love. Hold on. That's what I love about crafting. You can have the same supplies and look completely different. Okay, so please put that. Okay, so we're gonna let this dry, and while we're letting it dry a little bit, what do you think? I have brown ribbon, which I've used on the card here. We're just gonna put a little bit of a 3D element to the Christmas tree. Here is twine, something that you could use. Whatever you wanna do is, I always put a little bit of a 3D element embellishment on my cards just to give it a little bit of an interest. When you send these cards in the mail, you can either put a little bit of a piece of cardstock in the middle of it, or just make sure that you write on the envelope, hand cancel. And what that does is, if you hand cancel your cards, it doesn't run through the machine. And sometimes I've gotten cards that are 3D like this, and part of the envelope is torn and whatnot. And that's what happens is when they put it through those machines and you don't write hand cancel, that can help not make it get ripped or anything like that. So I started doing that on all my cards that have any type of like a embellishment that sticks up. So what does it look like you guys want? I think looks like, oh Joy, you want to see what Jeff can make? Jeff has actually made a card before, and I'll have to try. I do have it. I will have to, maybe the next live, if I can find it by then, I will show you. But he made me, I believe it was a Valentine's Day card. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. All right, it looks like we're gonna do the brown ribbon here. And how I do this, I always love to make sure that when I'm using ribbon that I use the smallest amount as possible to maximize how much I get out of each roll. And so if I were to do this as a bow, I would go ahead, make the bow, wrap it around my finger, and then take my index finger and push it through the top. And then I would pull it through, adjust it, and then I would make a bow and then just cut it off on the side. And that's how you make one that, instead of making all the little ones and really trying to struggle to be able to do a small bow like this, that's how I do my little bows. But for what we're gonna do today, I'm just gonna put a knot in it. Just a plain old granny knot, pull it. And then I'm going to use, these are cool if you can find these at a different store. These are close to my heart. These are scissors that have a cutter, the cutting all the ways to the cutting end goes all the way to the point. And so you can get in and do some really intricate cutting. And so I'm just going to do that. So I'm going to make 6 knots here. And the cool thing about that is I'm not going to have any extra ribbon that I have left over. So that's one reason why I like to do each knot or each bow still attached to my spool of ribbon. And you could dovetail these, and that means that you would just fold it in half and cut a diagonal so that it would have the points on the end. Instead of just one, it would have 2. Whatever you would like to bring to your card to make it yours. So we'll finish that part up, and I'm thinking the red on the top of the tree is going to be getting, it'll take a little bit. I'm going to just be super careful that I don't move the little glitter around on that heart when I start attaching my images here. 1, 4, 5, here's the last one. There we go. Okay, so let's start doing that. Like I said, do the same motion each time from start to finish, and that makes sure that you maximize your production, I would say, of this card. So if you have any questions on any of the steps that I have here and how to make this card, you feel free to message me. I am here to help you be successful in card making for this project. If you have something else you're just like, I'm not really sure, I would be glad to share what I know with you. That's one thing about the crafting world is I think we think that, oh, it's your design and that's it, and you don't want to share, but I am very happy to be able to share my knowledge of being able to cut corners or save you a few bucks here and there. There we go. That is one thing. I love to be able to teach I love to be able to encourage. My favorite thing is teaching a newbie how to do this, because it's an excitement for me that I enjoy being able to make someone successful in their crafting journey. Okay, like I said, this glue here, less is best. Make sure that it goes down, push it down in the middle there. Okay, so now all my images are ready. They're gonna dry just a little bit. And while they're doing that, I wanna show you, this right here is my foam tape. I got this at the dollar store. It comes in a lot of 3 of them. And this is really fun stuff. I mean, although it's cheap, it actually adheres pretty well. I don't mind it. So I'm gonna be able to put this on the card in a pretty quick manner. So make sure that when you're doing your card that it opens up. I'm going to see if I can do this upside down. We'll see how this goes. So I'm going to cut off a piece here. Oh, wrong one. We're going to do the larger pieces for the Christmas tree. So flip it over, and this does have a backing on it, so you're just going to pick off the back. There we go. So just like that, we're going to take our card, and for the example, I just left a little bit of an edge on the top. I could see if you want to put like a sentiment there, you're welcome to do so. Okay, there's one. Let's see, I'm going to flip it upside down so you guys can see. The foam tape here, this is one of those where I make sure that it goes a little bit to the corners. If you wanted to and you felt that the image is too big, you could put a piece in the middle. You're welcome to do that. But I think this foam tape is good enough on the corners here that I'll be okay. There we go. So for some of you that just hopped on, what's your weather like today? For me, I have 1 inch of snow outside, and it's on the grass, but not on the road, thank the Lord. I don't drive very well in snow, but it's supposed to melt away. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'd like to have it for a few more days, but there we go. So you can use this method of more than 1 card at a time, doing Valentine's cards. I do birthday cards, anniversary. Like I said, I always make sure that my 12 by 12 pieces of paper, I get the most square footage out of each of the pieces of paper instead of having, you know, one little square cut out of a 12 by 12. I want to make sure that I maximize my paper, and then sometimes when I'm busy and things are hectic and I need to pick out a happy birthday card or a get well soon, I'm able to do that and not have to go run down to my supplies and make a card each time. So I would recommend, you know, one of my favorite things that I used to do is invite someone over for coffee, and we'd make a bunch of cards, and they get to go home with some cards, and I have a good time because I love teaching people new things. All right. So let's make sure it's going the right way. Okay, so now, there we go, here's 6. For the last thing, I'm going to actually put on these little knots, and this is a smaller little one. I could also, if I wanted to, this tacky glue bonds ribbon to paper, and if I were doing something that I just didn't want it to fall off in the time frame that I had, I would use this glue, but this also works well And you can also use it in a quicker manner if you need to do something that's super, you need something really quick. And how I do this is I put the piece down because I want to make sure that I cut it so that it's not seen. And like again, I said, let's just make sure that it all goes one thing at a time so I don't mess what I'm doing up all at once. So let me know in the comments, has this inspired you to do Christmas cards this year? Or is it something where you're like, well, maybe next year you're gonna make them? I have cards that if I have an idea and I want to make sure that I get my idea down, I make a few of them and then I just stick them in a box. I have extra cards that I use throughout the year. Okay, so all I'm going to do is peel that off, put it down. This one, I think I'm going to go this way. Just make them any way you would like. Like that. There. All right. 2 more to go. I could see this in a really pretty blue and green theme, silver and blue, all that kind of stuff. So like I said, the sky is the limit on what you would like to do. Same idea, but just different colors would make it great. So, all right, this is it. This is how you make a card in a production style way, that you make sure that you start with the inside first, make your base, and then start from the bottom up and build yourself till you get to the top. Always add a little bit of a 3D element or sparkle to it. That's just kind of my thing. And I hope that you have enjoyed being able to see how this process works for me. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. You can private message me. Any questions you have on how I got this, where I got the supplies and different things like that. If you like this, what's going on with each Wednesday at 10 a.m., let me know if there's something that you would like me to try, do, tackle, find out for you in the crafting world. I also do florals and things like that. So in the back there is some wreaths and some snowman and gnome things that I've done in the last couple weeks. I am putting my house together for Christmas, and I might just show you a little bit as I go along, being able to see my decorations. My daughter Abby, she has picked the themes for each of my rooms in the house. We have a couple Christmas trees that we're going to be putting up, so feel free to message me and let me know what you're doing and how, if you have any questions. If you'd like to follow me or I do have a YouTube channel. It's Jane Nicole Designs. I have a Facebook page that's Jane Nicole Designs, and if you want to do t-shirts, I do have a Etsy store. It is janenicoledesigns.com, and you can find my t-shirts and things like that there. I do have a couple of my projects that I've done online as well. But thank you so much for watching me today. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Check in the next couple days. I'm going to be posting a few things, like I said, about getting my Christmas ready. And I would love to be able to see what you gals are up to and join in the joy of the season. So take care, and I will see you next time.